Cupertino High School in Cupertino, California, as Network Video Sports and Specials presents the finals of the 3rd annual Gary Bianchini Wrestling Tournament, the culmination of a long day of wrestling here at Cupertino High School. I'm John Atkinson along with Chuck Melanie. And Chuck, it's been a very long day here for all the wrestlers, but we're all set for a whole bunch of finals and some of the best wrestlers in the Central Coast section and actually some of the best wrestlers in high school in the state of California.
John, you're absolutely right. It's been a full day of wrestling. They've been wrestling out here since 10 o'clock this morning. We had matches going on everywhere. We've been through the consolation rounds now, and now it's down to crunch time. Who's going to come up and win these championships? We have the host Cupertino right now out on top with 143.5 points and really have a solid chance to win this tournament because they have 4 men in the finals, except we do have 3 matches going on at a time for the 4th and 5th places and also for 3rd and 4th places going on, and so that can make a real difference, and we'll keep you updated on how that's going. The top 5 teams: Santa Clara at 117.5, Fremont at 105, Bellarmine at 102.5, and Oak Grove at 100.5. There's a total of 20 teams here involved in this tournament.
And out of those 20 teams, it pretty much comes down, I think, right now to Cupertino and Santa Clara. Cupertino with 4 wrestlers in the finals, Santa Clara with 3. Most of the other teams only have 1 or 2, so any team that's going to catch Cupertino is probably going to have to be Santa Clara.
It really is, and right now it's going to be interesting to see what happens because those consolation matches for 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th places are really going to have a bearing on tonight's final standings.
And we'll keep you updated throughout the entire evening as to who wins those 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th place matches. Right now we'll take a break. We're going to have the first final of the 101-pound weight class coming up in just a moment.
Tonight, high school, he is 17-1 tonight. He was second in the tournament. He was first in the Bay Area. He was 3rd in Cupertino last year. His opponent was a freshman.
Well, we're just about set for the first match this evening in the championship round of the 3rd annual Gary Bianchini Tournament. It'll be the 101-pound weight class, and that is the number 1 and 2 seeds who have gotten through. Number 1 seed is Thai Fan of Andrew Hill High School in San Jose, and he'll be taking on the number 2 seed, Aki Yoshikawa of Cupertino High School. He's the number 2 seed.
John, while we have this opportunity, I would like to introduce our expert commentator tonight, Steve McKeown, the assistant coach at Fremont High School. Steve, we appreciate you joining us here at, I guess, Matt's side is what we call it here tonight at Cupertino High School. Been a lot of wrestling going on throughout the day, and now it's down to the crunch time. We're going to see the best of the best.
You got it right. Excellent wrestling going on all day today.
All right, so we have the 101 weight class ready to go. And John, take it away.
All right, we have Thai Fan, the number 1 seed, and Aki Yoshikawa, the number 2 seed. And the Fan is in the black, and Yoshikawa is in the Cupertino maroon uniform. Fan coming in 17-1 here in 1987-88 on the season. As they are pushed out of bounds, they'll come back to the center of the mat.
Right now, John, both wrestlers trying to establish themselves. Neither one has been able to take control. No points scored as of yet in this match. 16 points go to the winner for their team.
2 points for Yoshikawa of Cupertino High School. One minute and 19 seconds remaining in the first period. Each of these championship matches will be 3 2-minute periods. As we said, Fan 17-1 on the season. Yoshikawa coming in, he's 18-5 on the season. Both of these wrestlers have gotten through to the finals with 3 pins in the preliminary rounds this afternoon.
Now, Steve, Yoshikawa picked up 3 points there right before the whistle was blown to bring him back into the center of the mat as they started to go out of the center area. I assume that was for a near fall.
That was a near fall, right. We had a headlock and held the guy for at least 5 seconds or longer for a 3-point near fall.
In wrestling, you score points this way: 2 points for a takedown, 2 points for a reversal, 1 point for an escape, 2 points for a near fall that is less than 5 seconds, and 3 points for a near fall that goes over 5 seconds.
If you hold the guy for 2 seconds to 5 seconds, it is a 2-point near fall. You got to at least have the guy in the back for 2 seconds, you score 2 points. If you hold him for 5 seconds or longer, it is 3-point near fall.
Now, in this competition tonight, we will also be working with the technical fall rule, which means that if one wrestler picks up 15 more points or 15 or more points in a lead, they automatically win the match.
Right. Technical violation. I mean, technical fall. Right.
All right.
Which is new last year.
We've had the trainers out to look at Yoshikawa. We're ready to go again.
And Yoshikawa starting from the upper position. And now 2 points for Fan from Andrew Hill High School as he gets the takedown. Two officials working these championship matches against only one in each match this afternoon.
John, we have had a scoring correction. It's now 4-2. They gave him only a near fall under 5 seconds. They give Yoshikawa, so it's 4-2 with 40 seconds left to go here in the first period.
And 2 more points now for Fan, which cuts the lead to 5-4 as we come down near the end of the first period. 15 seconds now left on the clock. And Fan trying to flip over Yoshikawa at this point, and he has to hurry if he's going to get it in before the end of the first period, which he is not going to be able to do. So through the first period, 2 more points at the very end for Thai Fan of Andrew Hill High School. And it is 6-5 in favor of Fan as we enter the second period.
Fan received those final 2 points there, John, in that period for a near fall, and so right now he has a 6-5 lead. Steve, one of the things we've noticed throughout the afternoon was that in the lower weight classes we have much more leg tackling. They try to work in the lower part of the body, and as we work up in the weight classes, we'll see more upper body work.
Right. In the lightweights, you get a lot of leg wrestling, a lot of action. Usually up in the upper weights, you get more upper body wrestling, where the strength comes in.
End of the first period, they have a flip to determine who gets choice of position for starting off the second period. Fan won the flip and he started off on top, which means Yoshikawa will have his choice to start off the third period. And Fan is still in the position of trying to flip over Yoshikawa at this point and almost does it right here. And reversal for Cupertino. Yoshikawa reversing right there. He picks up 2 points and he's now out in front by a score of 7-6 rather. 7-6 Yoshikawa on top with 1:15 to go in the second round of the 101-pound weight class final. And Fan fighting to get free as he struggles to get out of bounds, which he finally does in a stoppage of the clock at 1:03 to go here in the second period.
John, this is exactly the kind of matches that we expected to see in the finals. Very close. Seeing neither wrestler really being able to dominate. That's why they've gotten into the finals. And right now we've got an excellent match going on with 1:03 left to go in period 2.
And as we look down the lineup of wrestlers to come, we have a lot of number 1 and number 2 seeded finals coming up in the next 10 or so final matches that will be wrestled here tonight at Cupertino High School. Yoshikawa close to the pin, but gets 2 more points, and it's now 9-6. And Yoshikawa out on top, and he seems to have the momentum at this point in the match. 40 seconds left in the second period.
Fan that time very alertly trying to move out of that near pin that time, near fall, as he did not want to lose 3 points. He knew he'd already lost 2. "17 seconds now remaining
in the second period, with Yoshikawa in the same position Fan was at the end of the first period, trying to pin his opponent, and Fan trying to get away. And it looks like we're going to be in just about this position as the second period ends at this point.
Steve, both wrestlers looked very tired near the end of that second period, neither one being very aggressive, and so the referees didn't step in. But these wrestlers will not be allowed just to have the opportunity to cradle up and rest out there, will they? Because if they don't have some action going, they'll break it up and go back to the center of the mat.
Right, they have to keep on wrestling, or else could be called for stalling. They have to keep on wrestling, try to pin their opponent, or the bottom man, the defensive man, has tried to escape or get a reversal.
And stalling can cost the opponent a point as well, right?
A point after they're warned. They're warned first, and then after that, they're given points away.
Yoshikawa
could be losing the match after 3 or 4 times.
Yoshikawa starting out on top here in the third period, as he had his choice after Fan had won the flip for the start of the second period. Still 9-6, Yoshikawa on top. And he's trying to turn Fan down and nail him to the mat. And Fan is close. Official down right in there. And he gets 3 points for Yoshikawa on the near fall. And it's now 12-6 in favor of Yoshikawa from Cupertino High School. Now 1 minute left in the match. And Yoshikawa, the number 2 seed, is very close to the decision over Thai Fan.
Okay, Yoshikawa right now, Steve, is trying to work in and flip his opponent over. I notice he's working high up on the body. Is that to try to bring that leverage around so he can move out?
Right, to turn him over to his back to score some points, because if he doesn't do that, he could be called on stalling. Top man just can't hang on and hold the guy. He's got to work for a fall.
So the stalling can be charged to either the top or bottom man.
Offensive or defensive guy, yes.
Okay.
Now relocate to the middle of the mat, 26 seconds to go. And Yoshikawa on top, 12-6. Fan trying to break away very quickly and not able to do so. And again, Yoshikawa trying to flip him over and bring him down to the mat. And loses his balance for just a moment, and now Fan looked like he had a bit of the leverage, but was able to get pushed out of bounds. And at 1 point there for Thai Fan, it's now 12-7 in favor of Yoshikawa, 12 seconds remaining.
Now we just had a point awarded to Fan. What was that for, Steve?
That was for escaping, loss of control by the top man.
Fan doing a good job right now, trying to hang in there, but too little, too late.
Clock runs out, and the final score in the first match tonight, the 101-pound weight class final. Aki Yoshikawa of Cupertino High School 12, Thai Fan of Andrew Hill High School 7. And that adds just a few more points to Cupertino High School as the Pioneers move closer to the championship of this third annual Bianchini Tournament. That will next set up the 108-pound weight class final. And we will see another Cupertino High School wrestler coming up here in this final. That'll be Pat Go of Cupertino. He is the 5th seed in this afternoon's tournament. He'll be wrestling against Dan Mirsky of Gunn High School, the number 2 seed. Go in the maroon, and Mirsky is in the dark uniform. Right now we're going to go to Chuck Melanie with the champion of the 101-pound final.
We have the winner of the 101 weight pound class, Aki Yoshikawa from Cupertino. Aki, congratulations, 12-7 win.
Thanks.
He was a pretty slippery opponent, and even though he slowed down on you in the second period, he really tried to come back in the third period on you.
Yeah, I really want to win this thing, and I guess I did it with positive thinking and all that kind of stuff.
Must help too, having the home crowd here.
Yeah, sure does. They're real supportive and everything.
Okay, Aki, congratulations.
Thanks.
Back to the 108-pound class. It is Pat Go of Cupertino High School leading Mirsky of Gunn at 2-0, and it looks as if Pat Go of Cupertino High School has come out very aggressively in this match, and the crowd getting behind him, and it almost looks like he's close to getting Mirsky for a pin. Can you go quickly over what has happened in the first couple seconds of this match?
Well, the guy took him down and put him on his back and scored a near fall. 2-point takedown, 3 near fall. I'd like to mention too is this guy on top is only a freshman. Last year's county champion, Santa Clara County. Pat
Go is only a freshman.
Yes.
And he comes in as the number
Gunn,
5
I believe is a senior from Gunn High School.
It is now 5-0 as Go gets another 3 points for a near fall. Go, only a freshman, he's 14-6 on the season. All 6 of his losses coming at the 122-pound weight class. He dropped a whole lot of weight to compete in this class for this tournament. And Mirsky from Gunn High School coming in as the number 2 seed. He's 15-2 on the season. And with 27 seconds left, they'll head back to the center of the mat. As Mirsky adjusts a few things, and now we're set to go. You got to look at good-sized crowd here tonight at Cupertino High School. Good showing for the finals of this tournament. 27 seconds remaining in the first period. It is 5-0 in favor of Pat Go of Cupertino High School, who is in the maroon. And he has been pretty much in control from the outset of this match here, at least in the first period. Go trying to flip Mirsky, has him flipped, looks for the pin. As time expires in the first period, but Go picks up another 3 points for another near fall, and he is out to an 8-0 lead after the first 2 minutes of this championship match.
Steve, right now for Pat, he has got to have a real psychological advantage. Mirsky just was really struggling throughout that first period.
But anytime you, in the first period, winning 8-0 gives you a chance to ease back and just keep the pressure on the guy.
Remember, if Go gets up 15-0, then it will be a technical fall. And right now, Go is up 8-0 over Dan Mirsky from Palo Alto's Gunn High School. And again, Go in pretty much the dominant position at this point. Again, trying to just get Mirsky to flip over. Minute 15 to go here in the middle period of this 3-period championship match. 108-pound weight class we're viewing right now. Go picks up another 2 points for a takedown. It is 10-0.
Steve, right now I would think that Pat would have some real motivation to keep scoring points because he's very close. Is a wrestler aware out there how many points he's got? I mean, is he thinking, I've got 10 points, I need to go for that technical fall?
Right, he should know that he's winning 10-0, and he knows that the only thing he's concerned about is not getting put on his back. Anytime winning 10-0, you know you got it made as long as you keep off your back, and he knows he wants to score some points to get a technical fall here. 15-0 would give a technical fall.
Down to 15 seconds left in the second period. It is still 10-0 with Pat Go out on top.
John, one of the things that I'm finding very interesting about this particular match is the fact that Noah was the number 5 seed, Mirsky the number 2 seed in this tournament, and right now you would never guess that.
Second period comes to a close. It's still 10-0. Also, Mirsky has come in. He's won 2 earlier tournaments this in the 1987-88 season, so he has obviously had a whole lot of success this year, but Pat Go has really been dominating him for the first 2 periods of this match, and Mirsky at this point, he's got to be looking at his only chance being a pin here in the third period in order to get a victory. And he will not be starting from a good position in which to get the pin, because he will have Pat Go up on top.
We will have the awards ceremony for the 101-pound weight class following this match. Let me just inform you that these wrestlers right now are wrestling at their allotted weight for February. They started off at 98 pounds at the beginning of the season. They're allowed to go up a pound per month as the season progresses. We're wrestling at the February weights tonight.
Dan Mirski has been given a point for an escape apparently back in the second period somewhere. And not exactly where that came from. Did not see them give the sign for a point earlier in the second period, but the official went over and checked with it in between the second and third period. So it's 10-1 in favor of Pat Go of Cupertino High School.
Steve, right now, Pat is dominating this match. Is there any particular reason for that? It would seem like number 2, number 5 seed that maybe Mirski should have come in here with a little better edge on that. Is there any explanation for what's happening?
No, what happens when you get in a tournament, you go by records and who you beat and who you didn't beat. And a lot of times the seeding is only to get the best wrestlers out for the finals, to keep them from meeting each other. And a lot of times you get a 5th seed guy, a 4th seed guy beat a number 1 seed man and gets to the finals. This is what happened in this case.
As the wrestlers head out of bounds, 2 points for Mirski for a reversal. And it is now 10-3, but only 50 seconds remaining in this third period for Dan Mirski to try to come back, and he's down by 7 points.
Now, Steve, Pat No right now can't just sit back. He's got 50 seconds, and there's still a long time to go with just a 7-point lead.
Yeah, well, he knows that as long as he stays off his back and doesn't get pinned, he's going to win. He can be called for stalling. He'll be warned for stalling, no points. He can be called for stalling. It'll be 1 point. He can be called again for stalling, another point. And he's got plenty of time to not get turned and just keep wrestling, looking that he's trying to get away, and he'll win the match.
Now, just now we've seen Pat work himself over to the edge of the wrestling surface. Very good move on his part, because if he is trying to get turned over, just like what happened right there, Mirski's going to take him out of bounds.
Right, and they got to start over and go back to the center of the mat.
And there's only 21 seconds now for Mirski to try to get that pin. And it would obviously look like a pretty dim situation for Mirski. As the clock back and running down to 15 seconds. And Pat Go is going to be content with just trying to stall and not get flipped onto his back as the clock runs down. 5 seconds now remaining here in the third period. And the clock for some reason has stopped. We're stuck on the clock at 3 seconds. The time has been, we've been past the 0 mark officially for about 30 seconds. The clock stopped with 3 seconds left, and the officials didn't notice it for about 20 seconds until the Cupertino coach came out onto the floor and almost had to touch the referee and tell him what had happened. And not much the Cupertino coach could have done in that situation, because he obviously didn't want to come out and interrupt the referee trying to officiate the match. Yet he had to try to get his attention in order to tell him exactly what was going on. So the champion of the 108-pound weight classification is Pat Go of Cupertino High School, and the Pioneers have come out with championships in both the 100 and 108-pound classes here in the Bianchini Tournament. Going to have the 101-pound introductions for the champions here in just a moment down at the opposite end of the floor. But first, before we have the introductions of those, we're going to go once again to Chuck Melanie with Pat Go.
We have Pat No with us, the winner of the 108-pound weight class. Pat, you came out really dominated early on in the match. You had to feel good about that.
Yes.
He turned out to be a little tougher opponent, though, than he looked like he might be. Mirski really came back on you there in period number 3.
Yeah, I over-predicted him. I thought I had him.
Well, it had to feel good about being a winner in front of the home crowd, huh?
Yes.
All right. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay, John, back to you.
And coming up in just a minute, we will have the 115-pound weight classification final. That'll be the number 1 and number 2 seeds once again. Mohammed El Sokari of Monte Vista, the number 1 seed, and the number 2 seed is Juan Padilla of Willow Glen High School. But before we do that, we will have the introduction of the champions from the 101-pound finals. And in the 101-pound classification, the 6th place winner, Gary Olson of Homestead High School. In 5th place, Dave Burright from Lynbrook High School. 4th place, Bobby Bayala of Fremont High School. The 3rd place winner, Bernard Artinez of St. Francis. In 2nd place, Thai Fan from Homestead High School, I believe it was, who was the loser in the championship match and the champion of the 101-pound classification, Aki Yoshikawa of Cupertino High School, and Thai Fan from Andrew Hill High School.
Steve, right now, even though we aren't concentrating on the matches going on for 3rd and 4th place and 5th and 6th place, those matches are very important to the teams for the overall score because they can really help their teams out right now with the number of points that are available.
Right. Every time they win a match in the finals or during the match, they win points. Plus, they get extra points for placing 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 5th or 6th. So when they win a match in the finals, whatever place it is, they score extra points for team points. And when they get a pin, they score 2 more points for additional team points. And I think they're awarding places 1, 2, and 3 for team awards.
Now, Steve, we're still relatively early in the wrestling season, but how important is it to a team to come in here and do well as a team?
Well, it gives them an incentive as a team to work hard at practice, get ready for the main thing is league finals, sections, and then state. So they know what they can do, and they just know they got to work harder and get ready for league. And this is just a start if a team does well.
All right, we're about set for the 115-pound weight class. John, why don't you tell us about our participants?
In the 115-pound classification, it'll be Mohammed El Sokari of Monte Vista High School. He is in the maroon-colored uniform. He is the number 1 seed. He's going up against Juan Padilla from Willow Glen High School, the number 2 seed. And we have a couple of undefeated wrestlers here in 1987-88. El Sokari from Monte Vista, 12-0 on the season. And Padilla is 19-0 here in 1987-88. Also, El Sokari coming in ranked 5th in the state of California. And they got to this position, El Sokari defeating crosstown rival Scott Tanabe of Cupertino in the semifinals, and Padilla over Jiang Lam of Mesa Verde High School from Sacramento. No score about 15 seconds into the match. As they head out of play, and the referee will bring them back to the center of the match, of the mat.
I don't think about the Padilla kid from. In high school right now, so he's got this year plus next year. And right now he's ranked 5th in the state, so he's doing a good job.
Still no score, about 45 seconds now into the match, 1:15 left here in the first period. And neither wrestler able to get much of an edge so far in this match.
Steve, you were mentioning the fact that Padilla just a sophomore right now, or I guess a junior?
No, El Sokari from Monte Vista is a junior right now. I don't know about Padilla.
Okay, so as just a junior, that's got to make a coach very happy.
Right. He was a place winner in CCS last year and qualified for the state. So as a sophomore, that's a good incentive to keep him going for another 2 years.
El Sokari gets 2 points for a takedown, and he leads it 2-0 with 40 seconds left here in the first period.
John, I was just about to say El Sokari also represents a very important match for Monte Vista. He is their only team member to make it into the finals.
And he has his teammates up in the stands on the far side of the gymnasium, out rooting him on as we come to a stoppage with 6 seconds left here in the first period, and El Sokari leading it 2-0 over Padilla. And El Sokari to start from the upper position as we complete the final 6 seconds here in the first period. The 115-pound classification, and Mohamed El Sakari from Monte Vista leading Juan Padilla of Willow Glen 2-0 after the first of the 3 2-minute periods.
Steve, a very close match going on right now. El Sakari has 2 points ahead. Strategy-wise now, what are these two wrestlers going to be looking at in period number 2?
Well, their main concern will not be get taken down. If they don't get a takedown, they don't want to give away a takedown. And the main thing, if they do get taken down, not to get put in their back, so they can give away 2-point takedown, 2 to 3 near fall, and be behind 4 to 5 points.
Wrestler is just at the very edge of the mat, and the officials take him back. Still 2-0. El Sakari leading it at this point. And both of them fighting to get the advantage. And El Sakari fights and gets 2 more points for another takedown. And Padilla fighting to get out, which he does. And they'll head back to the center of the match now, 4-0 in favor of El Sakari.
Now, Steve, that time I noticed that Padilla was not able to use the out-of-bounds area as protection to keep him away from being taken down.
Well, as long as the person getting the takedowns knees are in bounds and has control, that's considered a takedown. But again, that's a judgment call by the referee.
And El Sakari now in control. They started from the upper position right there, Steve, and then El Sakari brought him down. Why was he not given 2 points in that position for a takedown?
Well, he was given the 2-point takedown in the start, and he has control, so that's the way it stays.
So in order to get another takedown, then Padilla would have to come back and get control for a bit.
Padilla would have to get an escape, or, yeah, have to get an escape, and then he'd come back and get a takedown, or one of the vice versa.
So in other words, when they moved back to the center of the mat, then El Sakari was presumed to still be in control.
Right, right.
40 seconds now left, and a 1 point given to Padilla for an escape. It's now 4-1. El Sakari still leading it. And he is now in a position to get another takedown if he can get Padilla down. But fortunately for El Sakari, Padilla looks like he's in the best position to do that right now as they head out of bounds with 19 seconds left in the second period.
And Padilla being credited with 1 point for an escape on that last move.
And they start in the upright position as neither wrestler was given an advantage after they had last gone out of bounds. As the second period coming to a close, and at the very end, El Sakari getting 2 more points. And it is 6-1 in favor of Monte Vista from El Sakari as you get a look at Padilla, who doesn't look overjoyed with the way things have gone in the first 2 periods of this match with El Sakari. Third period just about set to go, and El Sakari will start from the upper position.
Steve, it appeared to me, at least in between periods, that Padilla looked much more weary from this match than El Sakari right now.
Yeah, the conditioning is an important part in wrestling, especially in the third period. I know El Sakari a little bit. He runs cross country during football season before wrestling starts, so he's in pretty good shape because he's running 2, 3, 4 miles a day 2 months before his season starts. So he's ready to go for wrestling.
And El Sakari looking in very good shape at this point. 1:18 to go. And he's leading Juan Padilla 6-1. And Padilla now is in just about the same position that Mirsky was back in the 108-pound final, and that is that he's at this point got to be looking for a pin. Is just about his only way to get a victory here in this final match. So he's looking at this point either for an escape or a reversal very quickly from El Sakari, with 1 minute now left here in the third period. Still 6-1, El Sakari leading it as he continues to try to flip over Juan Padilla.
Now, Steve, it appears we've just had a warning given out. Is that for stalling on Padilla?
Yeah, that Padilla he's not really stalling, but he's on the bottom. He can't move, and sometimes guys just lay there and not want to get pinned. Knows they've lost the match, but they just hang in there. But he's been warned. There was no point against him. Next time it will be a point against him.
As they head back to the center of the mat, 27 seconds left. And a 6-1 lead for Mohamed El Sakari. And El Sakari just 23 seconds now away from the championship, and he's looking to try to pin Padilla if he can, but before that, try not to get pinned by Padilla. And it looks like El Sakari gets one more point, as Padilla was penalized a point at that juncture for the stalling, and it is now 7-1 as we come down to the end of this match. And there's the buzzer, and El Sakari defeats Padilla of Willow Glen by a score of 7-1. And he is the champion of the 115-pound weight class. And Chuck Malley is up, and he's going to try to get Mohamed El Sakari to come over and chat for just a moment, as El Sakari, the champion in this 115-pound weight class, over Juan Padilla by a 7-1 final score. The 122-pound weight class coming up in just a couple minutes. We'll have Charles Cisneros of Andrew Hill High School going up against Doug Boren from Bellarmine High School. And that's going to be in just a couple minutes. Also, before we have that, we're going to have the introduction of the 108-pound finalists and award winners, which they are doing right now. And we're going to try to get a shot of that if we can. And down in the 108-pound class, as you see him right now, 6th place to Mark Cavillo from Santa Clara, 5th place Bobby Soto from Fremont High School, the 4th place winner Than Ma from Mesa Verde of Sacramento, Eric Cervantes, St. Francis, in 3rd place Dan Mirsky from Gunn, 2nd place Pat No from Cupertino, the champion, at 1st place from the 108-pound class. And now we'll go to Chuck Maloney with the winner of the 115-pound weight classification, Mohamed El Sakari from Monte Vista High School. Mr. Maloney, take it away.
I'm with the winner of the 115-pound weight class, Mohamed El Sakari, who now has a record of 13-0 in this season. And congratulations, Mohamed. You look good out there.
Thanks a lot.
You took control early in the match, and that seemed to break the will of your opponent.
Yeah, it did. It always does. If you can get a good start, you have a good end. So that's what I did out there.
Now, last year you went all the way to number 5 in the state. What's your goal this year?
This year, I guess, to wrestle my best to the top. That's about it. That's all I can ask for.
Well, if you stay undefeated, that ought to keep you going that way, huh?
Yeah, it should, yeah.
Congratulations to you. Mohamed El Sakari, the winner in the 115-pound weight class.
And El Sakari only a junior, so he has one more year coming up before he finishes up his high school eligibility. And I'm sure the Monte Vista Matadors wrestling program is obviously looking forward to that. 122-pound final coming up right now. We'll have Doug Boren, the number 6 seed in the blue from Bellarmine High School, against Charles Cisneros in the black from Andrew Hill High School. Cisneros, the number 4 seed in this afternoon's tournament. Cisneros 16-4 on the season. Boren is 9-6 here in the 1987-88 season. Cisneros defeating Rudy Gomez of Cupertino High School in the semifinals, and Boren getting to the finals, defeating Rol Ferronda of Santa Clara High School. No score in the first period, just about 30 seconds into it. In just a couple minutes, we'll try to get an update on the team competition, but Cupertino High School is comfortably out in the lead at this point through the first 3 finals this evening, as they have taken the first place spot in 2 out of the first 3. So if nothing else, they have at least lengthened their lead over 2nd place Santa Clara High School, as Cupertino was leading it by about 30 points as the finals this evening started. 2 points on the takedown for Cisneros from Andrew Hill High School. 45 seconds left in the first period. That was the first real action we have seen so far in the first period. Saw just about a minute of neither competitor able to get much of an advantage. And Cisneros, the number 4 seed, fighting right now to get the Bellarmine wrestler Doug Boren down, and he's not able to do it. And now 20 seconds left here in the first period. 2-0, Cisneros leading it. Right at the edge of the mat. They're within a couple inches of being brought back to the center of the mat with just a few seconds left, and now they are out of the center of the mat. 1 point for Doug Boren from Bellarmine for an escape with 4 seconds remaining in the first period. And it is 2-1 with Charles Cisneros leading it for Andrew Hill High School as the first period comes to a close. 2-1, Cisneros out on top.
Steve, right now, one of the things that I've noticed that has been prevalent here throughout the first 3 matches, and it appears it's going to hold true also here in match number 4. We have not seen any wins by pin. We have the best of the best going up against each other, and it appears they're going to have to win it by fall.
Right. Most cases you don't get a lot of pins in the finals because you got the 2 best wrestlers of each weight, and not always will you get a pin.
Starting off the second period with Doug Boren from Bellarmine High School on top, and Boren trailing 2-1 to Cisneros.
And John, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Borden is the only member of Bellarmine that's in the finals as well.
That's correct, he is. 1 point to Cisneros on the escape, and it's now 3-1 in favor of Cisneros with 1:38 left here in the second period. And as we suspected, Cupertino has kept their lead here in the finals. They're now out on top with 153.5 points through the first 2 rounds. 2 more points tacked on to Doug Boren from Bellarmine on a takedown. We're tied at 3. As the wrestlers fight right at the edge of the mat, and now they're called out and brought back to the center. 1:07 left here in the second period. It's tied 3-all between Charles Cisneros and Doug Boren. Bellarmine, for which Boren is a wrestler, they came in as the number 4 team through the preliminaries this afternoon. Bellarmine in 4th place behind Fremont, Santa Clara, and Cupertino. Boren fighting against Cisneros, looking for a takedown and not able to get it at this point.
Steve, it would appear to me right now that Borden, one of the problems he has had is that he was up so high on the body and wasn't able to get any leverage.
Right, yeah, when you get too high on the guy, you have a hard time keeping control of the guy, and he can be reversed real easy, or the bottom man can escape. You don't want to get too high. That's a bad move by most wrestlers.
And Cisneros have been able to take advantage of that, and now they're going to move off the mat and we'll come back into the middle.
17 seconds remaining here in the second period. It's still tied at 3-all. And it's beginning to look like the last period is going to be a very good one between these 2 wrestlers. Looks like this could be the closest of our first 4 matches. The first 3 matches this evening have all been pretty one-sided in the 101, 108, and 115-pound weight classifications. Near the end of the period, as the buzzer sounds off, Cisneros not able to get the escape, and we're all tied at 3-all. 3 for Cisneros, 3 for Boren as we head into the third and final period. And going to have Cisneros, I believe, on top as we head into the 4th period, or into the 3rd period. 2 minutes remaining in the final period in the championship match of the 122-pound weight classification.
Steve, have you seen anything in this match so far that you would say would give one man superiority over the other?
Not really. The Bellarmine kid has been riding out the guy the whole second period, which gives him control. Now he's on the bottom. If he gets an escape or reversal, he'll be in the lead.
And Boren fighting for it right now, and gets the reversal and the 2 points, and he leads it 5-3. A minute 25 to go.
One advantage of taking, his opponent took top position third period, which gave Bellarmine an advantage because now he's got a tight score. The bottom man, if he escapes or reverses, he scores points. The top man has to put him on his back to score points. So I think it was a mistake by the Andrew Hill kid to take top position.
As we have just a bit of a break, looks like Boren has come out with a bit of a cut lip, it looks like.
Doug Borton also finished number 3 in the state last year, John, in Greco-Roman wrestling. And Steve, I would assume that means he's got some superior upper body strength as well, because Greco-Roman means they're not going after the legs. You got to do with that upper body.
Right. Greco-Roman is strictly upper body. You can't use any legs at all, period. It's all upper body.
Minute 15 to go, and Boren on top 5-3. Now 5-4 as Cisneros given a point for an escape.
Now, Steve, we could potentially wind up in a tie here through these first 3 periods. What happens if we wind up in a tie?
End up with a tie. Each wrestler gets a 1 minute break, and they wrestle again. 3 periods, 1 minute each. And if there's a tie after that, they have a criteria list of criteria, 10 items that they choose to who's the winner, starting from 1, 2, 3 down to 5, depending on how far it goes down.
45 seconds remaining in the final period. As they head out of bounds, 5-4 still in favor of Boren from Bellarmine High School. As they head back to the match, or back to the mat. And Andrew Hill Cisneros has now lost 2 points. 2 points for Boren on a takedown. And it is now 7-5 with 10 seconds left as Cisneros gets a point for an escape, and then 2 points for Boren on another takedown, and on a very eventful final 30 seconds as Boren defeats Cisneros 9-5 and it takes the championship in the 122-pound weight class over Cisneros by a score of 9-5. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with more from the 3rd annual Gary Bianchini Tournament at Cupertino High School in just a moment.
Back at the Gary Bianchini Wrestling Tournament, Chuck Maloney now with Doug Boren, the 122-pound weight class winner. Doug, Cisneros and you went at it pretty even through those first couple of periods.
Yeah, I think he's probably the toughest match I've had all year.
Now, I noticed in the 3rd period that you were able to really use your upper body strength, and then I found out some information that you finished 3rd in the state in Greco-Roman. Did that kind of feel like you had some superiority on him out there?
Yeah, we did a lot of training this summer with the California team, so I think that helps me out a lot.
Well, congratulations to you. You looked really good out there, and I know that you really helped your team point-wise.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Doug Boren, the winner in the 122 weight class. John, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Chuck. Doug Boren from Bellarmine High School, our champion in the 122-pound weight classification. They are right now introducing the 115-pound finalists. And those champions, in 6th place, Matt Margaria of Bellarmine High School. Scott, he is in 6th place. 5th place, Scott Tanabe from Cupertino High School. The 4th place winner, Brian Hota from Lynbrook High School, is Again, a good-sized crowd out here at Cupertino High School. Third place to Jiang Lam from Mesa Verde High School in Sacramento. As you see, the 115-pound finalists right there. Second place, Juan Padilla from Willow Glen High School, and the champion Mohamed El Sakari, who Chuck talked to a little while ago from Monta Vista High School. He's now 13-0 here on the season. Those are your winners or your finalists from the 115-pound weight classification. Coming up right now is the 129-pound classification, which will have once again another meeting of number 1 and number 2 seeds. Gerard Vindiola from Milpitas High School in the blue uniform. He is the number 2 seed, or the number 1 seed. The number 2 seed, Manuel Soria of Homestead High School in the green. As they immediately head right out of bounds. Vindiola from Milpitas, 13-4 on the season. Soria from Homestead is 10-1 here on the season. Just into action here in the first period, and there's no score between these two wrestlers. The 129-pound final of this third annual Bianchini Tournament. I'm John Atkinson along with Chuck Maloney at Cupertino High School.
John, once again, this match very important to these wrestlers' schools. They are each the only men to make it into the finals for the number 1 or 2 spot.
2-0 in favor of Vindiola, as he gets credit for, or Soria, that is, as he gets credit for a takedown. And 1 point now for Vindiola on an escape. It's 2-1 in favor of Soria.
I'd like to mention here, both wrestlers are sophomores. Okay. Vindiola ran cross country at Milpitas, and Soria played varsity football at Homestead High School. Both excellent athletes, sophomores only, 1 and 2.
And it is 2-1 in favor of Soria over Vindiola.
And Steve, this must give a wrestling coach something to smile about when you've got 2 sophomores who can make it into the finals of a big tournament like this.
Right, especially these quality wrestlers. I got something personal with both these guys. The Milpitas wrestler is coached by my best friend, Rudy Carranza, and assistant coach by one of my ex-wrestlers, Brian Connelly. And the Homestead kid is one of my wrestlers from junior high who was a county champion as an 8th grader. So I'm kind of got a personal thing in both of them.
Now, I could be really unfair and ask you who you're rooting for, but I won't.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm rooting for the Homestead kid because he's my wrestler.
And that is Manuel Soria, who looks like he just took a finger in the eye. And so he's going to take a moment to be looked at by the Homestead trainers. We have 23 seconds left in the first period. It is 2-1 in favor of Soria from Homestead. As you get a look at Vindiola getting some coaching from the sidelines. Soria still down over on the mat right in front of the Homestead coaches.
We certainly hope you're enjoying tonight's presentation of the Gary Bianchini Memorial Wrestling Tournament from Cupertino High School, being brought to you by Network Video Sports and Specials. Lots more sports coming your way this winter. We have lots of basketball that will be coming over Cupertino Channel 30, and we hope you'll enjoy it. If you like what you see, give the folks at Channel 30 a call and tell them thanks a lot for putting us on.
Soria is still being looked at with 23 seconds here in the first period, and he now gets up to his feet, and it looks like he's going to be okay and should be able to continue, although his right eye now looks like it is swollen.
In fact, John, I didn't notice it because I had been doing the interview, but I noticed that Soria had an eye problem, that he evidently had injured the eye earlier in the day.
His first match, he got hit with an elbow and has wrestled all day with that eye like that.
And of course, that's Murphy's Law. If you have an eye that's already hurting you, somebody's going to poke you in it in the finals, right?
Right.
Two eyes, and you're going to get it poked, and obviously it's going to be that one eye.
Right.
Still up 2-1 as the first period comes to a close. After the first period, it is 2-1. Soria out on top in the second period.
Very good match, John. We have seen two great matches in the last two rounds here, and this one turning out to be another good one.
As you can obviously tell, at least from our vantage point, Soria with that right eye pretty much swollen closed at this point. And we're going to have Vindiola from Milpitas starting out on top here in the second period. And Soria fighting for the escape, which he gets, and he moves out to a 3-1 lead.
Now, Steve, in light of what you talked about in the last match, I was a little surprised that Vindiola started off on top rather than have that advantage of being on top, coming out in coming out on the bottom in the third round.
In the second period. It's a wrestler's choice to take top or bottom, and sometimes he may feel he might be stronger on top to score points by putting him on his back.
Vindiola has come back and gotten 2 points for a takedown, and we are all knotted up at 3-all with 1:15 left here in the second period. 129-pound final. And Vindiola on top in this situation, although Soria has now scored 2 more points for an escape. And it is 5-3.
Soria really doing a good job there, bracing that right leg out there to keep himself from being turned over, and was able to stand everybody back up.
Right, that's the main thing. When you're on bottom, you want to try to post yourself either with a hand, with an arm, or a leg, not to get turned. It's one thing to give a takedown or reversal. If you give 2 or 3 near fall points, you get too far behind.
And it looks like they're going to attend to the eye once again now on Soria. I really hope he's able to continue. It'd be a shame to see him be put out of this competition because of that injury, but they won't take any chances, will they, Steve?
No, they won't take any chances, but one thing I was afraid of earlier today, when he did get hit, his eye, he could see with it, but as the day went on, it got more swollen, now it's closed.
And there are 39 seconds left in the second period, and that eye of Soria is completely swollen shut at this point, and he is left with just one eye at this point. And that has really got to cut down, obviously, on his peripheral vision. And Vindiola will start out on top again as we come down towards the end of this second period. And Vindiola on top 5-3 over Manuel Soria. .15 seconds left. And Vindiola 13-4 on the season as they head out of bounds. And Vindiola from Milpitas High School, with 12 seconds left, will start out on top once again. Soria trying to grab Vindiola's leg, is able to head him down to the mat, but nothing for a takedown as the second period closes. And 5-3 in favor of Vindiola. He is leading it here as we head into the final period, and Vindiola is going to start out once again on the bottom with Soria on top.
And is that the nastiest looking eye you've seen in a long time? I'll tell you what a gutsy young man to be out there.
It looks like he's been boxing for the day.
Six 3 now
my
for
15
Vindiola.
years of coaching, this is the first eye I've ever seen like this.
And it looks like it could be a few days before Soria is able to see out of his right eye.
But think what a hero he's going to be when he goes back to school on Monday.
Right. He'll be look like tough. Second or first don't make any difference.
He'll be trying to tell somebody he went up against somebody from the AWA or something.
Right. Battle wounds.
Still 6-3, Vindiola out on top now with 1:20 to go in the third period.
122-pound
And 2 points added to the total for Manuel Soraya on a fall, or a near fall rather, and it is 6-5.
What he might be doing here pretty soon is eventually let the guy go, score 1 point, and then he'll try to take him down and tie it up, especially if he can't turn him. Okay, now see, he's got a 1 point escape. Now, Soraya has to take him down and tie it up.
So now the pressure is on Soraya with 30 seconds left, down 7-5. And he gets those 2 points to tie it up at 7-all. Soraya with the takedown, and it is 7-7 with 20 seconds left, and we might be looking at our first overtime unless Padilla can get the takedown with 7 seconds left. He gets the reversal for 2 points, and it is 9-7 and now 9-8 with 1 more point added to the total for Soraya, and Vindiola comes out with the win, 9-8.
Steve, that time, great strategy on the part of Soraya, just ran out of time.
Right,
in
there's
that
nothing
match.
you can do. Let the guy go, try to take him down, because when you get a takedown, it's 2 points, 1 point escape. You keep on doing that, and you get extra points doing that. He won an earlier match doing that earlier in the day.
So Vindiola from Milpitas High School comes out with a very tough victory on a reversal with just about 10 seconds left as he defeats Manuel Soraya from Homestead High School by a score of 9-8. And coming up next will be the 135-pound weight classification final. And that will be Albert Gaxiola from Fremont High School and Luis Barcelos from Santa Clara High School. That'll be in just a minute, but first we're going to go back to Chuck Maloney, who is with our champion in the 129-pound weight classification.
I'm with the winner of the 129-pound weight class, Gerard Vindiola. And Gerard, tough match out there. Soraya had that eye problem, but that didn't slow him down at all, did it?
No, he's actually really strong. I just went out there and shot, and took control of the match.
Now, late in that third period, he had gotten a takedown, let you go for the escape, came back, and then came back and went down into the takedown again. You tied it up, but you really retook control of that reversal very quickly.
Yeah, well, I knew he was kind of tired, so I figured if I just get this last reversal, I can hang on and win. So that's what I did.
Well, Gerard, congratulations, a good match, and I know that you were the only member of your team to make it into the 1 and 2 finals and the center mat tonight, so congratulations to you for that. I'm sure your team's proud of you.
All right, thank you.
Gerard Vindiola, the winner of the 129-pound weight class. John, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Chuck. Introduce the champions of the finalists of the 122-pound weight classification, which you'll be seeing on your screen in just a minute. Those are not the finalists in the 122-pound weight classification, I guarantee it. It's coffee break time here at Cupertino High School. The finalists in the 122-pound weight classification: Brent Goodall from Monte Vista, or Mesa Verde High School in 6th place. Raul Ferronde from Santa Clara in 5th place. 4th place, Sharif Aziz from Fremont High School. The 3rd place champion, Rudy Gomez from Cupertino High School. And the 2nd place finisher, Charles Cisneros, Andrew Hill High School. And the champion, Doug Boren from Bellarmine High School, we had a chance to talk to just a few minutes ago. That will bring us to the 135-pound weight classification, which will be coming up in just a moment. And that will feature, once again, a meeting of the number 1 and 2 seeds with Albert Gaxiola from Fremont High School. And he'll be going up against the number 2 seed, Luis Barcelos from Santa Clara High School.
Boy, John, that was a tough match, that 129 weight class. Gerard Vindiola hanging on, but you have to really give credit to Manuel Soria, who just wrestled his heart out as he had that bad eye and just hung in there.
It would have been a situation where a lot of people could have just said, well, I don't feel like wrestling. I can only see out of one eye, and I've had a good enough afternoon. I got to this point. I'm just going to give it up. But not Manuel Soria. He kept on fighting, and with only one eye, and boy, that is so tough. Just imagine closing one eye and going for 2 minutes and doing anything, let alone trying to wrestle.
One thing about this match here, both these wrestlers have met at another tournament before in the finals, and Albert Gaxiola from Fremont beat Luis Barcelos from Santa Clara in the finals and was voted outstanding wrestler of the tournament.
2 points on the takedown for Barcelos from Santa Clara High School. He is the number 2 seed, Gaxiola the number 1 seed, and this is about as close to what I think we're going to have as a grudge match tonight. Gaxiola in 86-87 was 4th in the CCS. Barcelos was 3rd in the CCS. And earlier this season, Barcelos beat Gaxiola, or that was in 86-87, Barcelos beat Gaxiola. This year, Gaxiola has defeated Barcelos, so they're very familiar with each other. It is 2-0 in favor of Barcelos. Gaxiola with 1 point for the escape, so it's 2-1.
Both wrestlers here are last year's place winners in CCS.
And Barcelos going for Gaxiola, and Gaxiola able to break away. Gaxiola in the red, Barcelos in the blue and yellow. 45 seconds left in the first period. It is 2-1 in favor of Barcelos.
Steve, obviously you know Albert Gaxiola very well. What can you tell us about this young man?
Well, he's a fine young man. He's made a great comeback from his younger years in high school. He's a 3.5 student and is well respected on campus. He's a leader on our team. He's the best wrestler on the Fremont High School wrestling team. The same for Barcelos for Santa Clara, one of the best wrestlers on their team.
And I'm sure for both of these young men, Steve, this must be an important match because they figured to see each other later on this season, don't they?
They will, because they will probably be in the same weight when it gets to the CCS, and they're in different leagues, but when it gets to CCS, they'll both meet, and they're both seniors. So this is it for them. This is their final season in high school.
And we're down at the end of the first period. And through the first of the 3 periods, Luis Barcelos of Santa Clara out on top over Albert Gaxiola, 2-1. And the flip goes to Barcelos, and he will have his choice. And he waves it off, and Gaxiola gets the choice. And Albert's going to start off on the down position.
I'd also like to mention here that Albert Gaxiola is the head coach of Fremont, is one of my ex-wrestlers who I assist from Sunnyvale High School, Vince Baza.
Just getting all your friends named in here, aren't you?
Right. Well, when you coach for 15 years, you get a few guys around that are still coaching and involved with wrestling.
Just into the second period, it is 2-1 still in favor of Barcelos. And Gaxiola quickly out of bounds to bring them back to the center of the mat.
Steve, one of the things about these young men who wrestle, now tonight we have a nice good-sized crowd here, but a lot of times they're wrestling in obscurity, and it really takes a lot of dedication to stay at it, I'm sure, until they get up to the CCS where the accolades start to come back.
Right. In wrestling, we don't get the big fan clubs like you do in basketball and football. It's got to be a dedicated sport for yourself and for your team. And you don't get the accreditation that you get from other sports like you do football and basketball. But each kid goes at his own pace and does it for himself and the team. A lot of sacrifices. Besides working, getting in shape, you got to cut weight at the same time. About the only sport you have to do that.
Gaxiola with the reversal is now out on top, 3-2.
I have a good friend who wrestled in high school, and I used to always know what the situation was, because if I got to school at about 7:30 in the morning and I saw him just running by in that that suit, I'd go, well, that's the last we're going to see of him this afternoon.
Right, that happens. You know, my son had a match Thursday night. He lost a close match. He had to come back Thursday night after losing and run 3 miles to keep his weight down for the next day. So win or lose, you still got to sacrifice, which makes you a tough person.
Now, Steve, at that point when a wrestler gets that close and has to drop a few pounds down like that, what effect does that have on their strength?
A little bit, because you got to cut the weight and you lose the weight part, you know, of it. But if a kid is strong and has his endurance, he can come back and wrestle strong the whole day. As long as you're not cutting more than 10 pounds, the kids can handle it, no problem. I used to cut 10, 15 pounds, never bothered me. I could wrestle 7, 8 matches in a day and not bother me a bit.
25 seconds left here in the second period. It is 4-3. Albert Gaxiola from Fremont High School on top.
As you can tell from the reaction on John and my faces, we can really relate to that, doing 7, 8 matches a day.
Oh, sure, no problem. And Gaxiola now with 2 more points on the takedown. He's up 6-3. As the second period comes to a close, Gaxiola will head into the third and final period with a 3-point lead over Luis Barcelos from Santa Clara High School.
Gaxiola really appeared to come alive, Steve, in that second period.
Right. Well, he's another person who ran cross country and was he placed in CCS in Fremont High School cross country team. Now Barcelos took choice and took down, knowing he could maybe score a point. Now his score is 4-6.
He gets 1 point for the escape, and then if he can get the takedown and get 2 points, then he would actually come back with 3 points and tie it up very quickly, which unfortunately for Barcelos did not happen. And Gaxiola with 2 more points on a takedown, and it is 8-4 with Gaxiola on top. And a minute 30 left in the final period.
All the spectators back to the stands, please. If you're not wrestling, I want you back in the stands. That's the meeting on deck. Everyone's back in the stands.
The mat at this point. Gaxiola is just trying to flip over Barcelos if you can. 1:10 to go for Albert Gaxiola.
Now, Steve, I'm a little surprised at this point that we haven't seen a little more aggressiveness on the part of Barcelos. He's down here, we're in period number 3.
Well, he's cutting quite a bit of weight, so he's probably a little out of shape right now, cutting that weight. But last time I saw him wrestle at Santa Clara tournament, he was out of shape. Some guys take longer. This is about the mid-season of wrestling, so you don't need to get in your top peak shape until towards the end of the season when you get to the league and CCS. One thing, like any other sport, you don't want to peak out. You don't want to peak out in the middle of the season. So right now, a wrestler can lose a match and have no problem. He wants to peak out at the end of the season.
And again, we've had a problem with the clock on the end of the Cupertino Gymnasium. It is stuck at 1:09, where it's been for about 1.5 minutes, I think. Third period.
And John, they're indicating now that there is 1 minute left to go in the period. They're talking that situation over.
We can get the scoreboard to continue working, or get it back to working with 1 minute left here in the third period. And Gaxiola continuing the lead by a score of 8-4. And 2 points on the reversal for Barcelos. So it's now 8-6. And as the wrestlers head back to the center of the mat, unofficially, about 45 seconds left in this match. We think. Barcelos gets Gaxiola the escape, so it's 9. Looking to bring down Gaxiola. About 25 seconds left in the match. And Gaxiola is on top. And there comes the towel thrown in from the side, and Albert Gaxiola from Fremont High School takes the victory over Barcelos from Santa Clara.
And again, we had one of the better matches that we have seen tonight. Both wrestlers really worked hard. And Steve, I'm sure it had to be hard on them when the clock went awry. That's got to really cause a problem of momentum. But both wrestlers seem to be able to hang in there at that point and concentrate on what they had to do.
Right. It's very important for a wrestler to know what time it is, especially if he's leading the match or he's losing, know what he has to do.
And that will bring us now to the 141-pound classification, which will be coming up in just a couple minutes. And that will be the number 4 and number 6 seeds in the 141-pound classification. Randy Salingo of Cupertino High School and Tommy Rogers from Henley High School in Klamath Falls, Oregon. But first, before we do that, once again, Chuck Maloney with the champion of the 135-pound classification, Albert Gaxiola.
Chuck Maloney now with Albert Gaxiola, the winner of the 135-pound weight class from Fremont High School. And I know that you and Barcelos have met before, and so you wanted that win real bad today, didn't you?
Yeah, I wanted it real bad, but I beat him a couple weeks ago, and he was a little hungry himself too. He worked a lot harder than he did a couple weeks ago.
I would imagine that you're probably looking forward to seeing him at least one more time when CCS time rolls around.
Yeah, maybe in Mid-Cal too. Probably see him in Mid-Cal and CCS.
Well,
Beat him again.
I know your assistant coach, Steve McKeown, was telling us that he was real proud of you and that we could look for a good match. And once again, congratulations for winning for Fremont.
Thank you.
All right, the winner of the 135 weight-pound class, Albert Gaxiola. John, back to you.
All right, Chuck, and right now we have a look at the 129-pound finalists. And right down there, the consolation champion in the 7th place is Steve McKeown, the son of our color commentator. I was wondering how that name got on there. 6th place, Mike Glechia of Henley High School. 5th place, Rashid Williams from San Lorenzo Valley High School. The 4th place winner, Sam Hoiki from Mount Pleasant. J.B. Shadowdy from Bellarmine High School in 3rd place. 2nd place, Emmanuel Soria from Homestead High School, and the champion of the 129-pound classification is Gerard Vindiola from Milpitas High School. And those are your 129-pound finalists here at the Bianchini Tournament. And that will move us now to the 141-pound final, which will have the number 4 and number 6 seeds. A very interesting tournament for this 141-pound classification. The number 1, 5, and 8 seeds were all defeated very early in the competition this afternoon. And so that has opened the door for a couple of other wrestlers. And the wrestlers here in the 141-pound classification, the 4th seed, Randy Salingo from Cupertino High School. He's 9-4 this season, and he is facing the number 6 seed from Henley High School in Klamath Falls, Oregon, Tommy Rogers. And Rogers has gotten to this final, defeating the number 2 and number 3 seeds in order to get to the final. So it has been a good competition for Tommy Rogers, obviously defeating 2 wrestlers ranked above him in order to get here.
And John, it's my understanding that Chris Henry, the head coach from Henley High School in Klamath Falls, is a former Cupertino wrestler, and that is why he brings his team down here. And that's part of the excitement of those young men being here in California to wrestle.
Salingo in the maroon gets 2 points for the takedown. And Rogers from Henley, Oregon is in the blue and yellow, and Salingo leading it 2-0. Just about 15 seconds into the first period.
Oh, now you don't even get to see a clock now.
Once again, the clock not working here at Cupertino, so the semi-official clock is here.
I'm glad you put on the notice semi-official clock.
So we'll have to see how close we can keep this. About 1:15 left in the first period. And it continues a 2-0 lead for Salingo from Cupertino High School. And the wrestlers staying primarily near the center of the mat early on here in the first period. Salingo getting to the finals as he defeated Dan Perry from San Lorenzo Valley High School in the semifinals.
Now right now he has him in a cradle, scoring near fall points. One of the most favorite pinning combinations to score near fall points or pins is a cradle.
And he gets 3 points for the near fall, so he leads it 5-0. Here in the first period with about 25 seconds or so left in this first of the 3 2-minute periods.
One good thing about a cradle is you can get it from about 5 or 6 different moves, standing or down the mat.
Salingo starting on top, and he leads it 5-0. He is the third Cupertino wrestler to be in the finals this evening. The other two have been champions. Yoshikawa in the 101-pound classification and Go in the 108-pound classification. Down near the very end of the first period, and there it is, 5-0 in favor of Randy Salingo from Cupertino High School.
And John, it's having those wrestlers in the finals, it's really helping Cupertino right now. They have a lead of 155.5 points. The closest competition to them is Santa Clara with 123.5 points.
And it really looks as if the Cupertino Pioneers are going to pretty much run away with the championship of the Bianchini Tournament. Third annual tournament put on here at Cupertino. And the Pioneers looking to take the championship as Salingo with 1 more point on the escape. And he now leads it 6-0 over Tommy Rogers from Klamath Falls, Oregon. Rogers trying to get Salingo over on his back, and Randy not willing to make it too easy for Tommy, which you probably would assume. About 1:15 left here in the second period. They have given Rogers 2 points, so it is now 6-2. And Rogers is still trailing as Salingo flips him over, and now will look for the pin. With about 45 seconds left, 2 more points for Salingo. On the takedown, it is 8-2, and he is looking for the pin on Rogers, who fights to get out of bounds, which he finally does. And 3 points on the near fall is 11-2. Randy Salingo leading it for Cupertino. We have about 40 seconds left here in the second period.
John, we haven't seen it happen all night long. We were close in an earlier match, but right now, Salingo very close to being able to pick up a technical fall if he can just hang in here and get another takedown and maybe a near fall.
30 seconds left in the match, or in the second period rather, and remains 11-2 with Salingo leading it for Cupertino, and he has been in control from the very outset of this match. 15 seconds now left to go. And that brings us to the closed of the second period, 11-2. Salingo leading it for Cupertino. And Tommy Rogers of Henley High School in Klamath Falls, Oregon will start from the upper position here in the third period.
Rogers, one of 3 wrestlers from Henley High School to make it into the finals of tonight's competition.
And immediately Salingo able to get up and get away. It's now 12-2. And Rogers loses his headset. So we have a stoppage for just a moment for Rogers to replace it. So it's going to take him a couple minutes to do a little bit of maintenance work on it. And now it appears to be set. 12-2, Salingo leading it. Looking to be the third champion from Cupertino on the evening. As the Pioneers just rolling towards the team victory in this tournament. Rogers takes a dive for Salingo's legs, but Randy able to back out of the way. Now Salingo goes inside. A 10-point lead for Salingo here in the middle of the third period. And Rogers trying to turn Salingo and get him onto his back. That's about his only chance for a victory right here, is if he can somehow get Salingo into a pin. 2 points given to Rogers for the takedown. And Rogers still down by 8 points at 12-4 with 1 minute left here in the match. A 12-4 lead for Randy Salingo.
John, I don't want to say that the action slowed down there for a bit, but both referees met just outside the action. Were standing out there and looked like they were having a conversation, talking about where they wanted to go for dinner. They were obviously watching both wrestlers, but it just really slowed down. It was very comical to see the way it looked. It was just kind of like they were waiting for things to get going again.
You noticed that too, did you?
That'll happen a lot of times when a wrestler is winning by a large number of points. He knows he just has to coast to take first place. And that's what Salingo is doing from Cupertino.
Wrestlers back to the center of the match, an 8-point lead for Salingo, the Cupertino wrestler.
Right now his only concern is not to get put in his back. That's it. And he knows he hasn't won.
And with 30 seconds to go, he is just going to try to let the time run out and not let Rogers do anything drastic. It looks like Salingo will be the third champion on the evening for Cupertino High School. As Salingo now with a reversal extends his lead to 14-4 as the match runs out in the 141-pound weight classification. And the final score, 14-4, is Salingo from Cupertino High School over Rogers from Henley High School in Klamath Falls, Oregon. And once again, that final score, 14-4. And that will bring us to, in just a moment, the 148-pound weight classification, which will be another meeting of number 1 and 2 seeded wrestlers. Tomasa Timoteo from Mesa Verde High School in Sacramento, making the trip to the Bay Area, and he will be going up against the number 2 seed, Mark Savage from San Lorenzo Valley. And that will be coming up in just a moment. Also, in just a moment, Chuck Maloney will be talking with Randy Salingo from Cupertino High School, who is just pulling on his sweats before coming over to talk to Chuck. And also in just a moment, the 135-pound finalists will be introduced down in the corner, which they are doing right now. We'll go over those right now. And they are Damon Chandic from Homestead High School, the number 6 place finisher. 5th place finisher, Tung Duong of Gun High School. And 4th place, Jay Remley from Cupertino. Devin Matthews from Lynbrook High School in 3rd place. 2nd place finisher, Luis Barcelos from Santa Clara High School. And the 1st place champion in the 135-pound classification, Albert Gaxiola from Fremont High School. Those are your finalists in the 135-pound weight classification. And now we're going to go to Chuck Maloney with Randy Shalingo.
We're with the winner of the 141-pound weight class, Randy Shalingo. Randy, you really dominated your opponent out there. Were you a little surprised with the way you were able to stay on top of him?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. He's a tough wrestler. He's real strong. I did my best. He did good. He did pretty good himself.
Right now, you have to be pretty happy. The Cupertino team has 3 wrestlers in the finals on the center mat tonight, and your team has a big point lead, and it looks like you may win your own tournament.
Yeah, it looks really good for us. We're all real happy. We wrestled really hard. We're happy.
What does it mean to you guys to be able to win a tournament like this?
It's just great, especially when it's your own tournament. This is the 3rd year it's been going, and finally we're going to come away with a win. Really happy.
All right, Randy, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Randy Shalingo, the winner of the 141-pound weight class here at the Gary Bianchini Wrestling Tournament.
£148 classification coming up now with the number 1 wrestler, Tomasa Timoteo, in the green from Mesa Verde and Sacramento. He's the number 1 seed. And the number 2 seed, Mark Savage from San Lorenzo Valley, in the black and red.
You know, at this point here, we've seen 3 Cupertino guys win championship. Well, the referee in this particular match, is one of the coaches for the junior high level that coaches these Cupertino kids. That's one of the reasons for the old guy with the gray hair, Marty Redmond.
You'll hear the music come up, and that'll be your outro.
No score here in the first period. Between Timoteo from Mesa Verde and Savage from San Lorenzo Valley. And again, neither wrestler really able to get much control so far here in the first period.
A single leg, still no score.
Wrestlers continuing to fight it out at the center of the mat, and again, Timoteo and Savage not able to get much of an advantage over each other. Very hard fought first period so far. That has been pretty much a draw to this point. 0-0 the score. And now an official's timeout called for some reason.
Well, it was what they call a stalemate. When no progression occurs over a certain amount of time in seconds, they stop the match and bring both wrestlers up. It happens the same thing down on the mat at the same time. Same thing will occur.
Down near the end of the first period, 0-0 the score between Timoteo and Mark Savage as the first period comes to a close.
John, I was over handling one of the interviews when you announced the winners in the 129-pound weight class. I just want to make sure, did Steve get to talk about the fact that his son was the consolation champ?
Right. He's a senior wrestling this year, took 7th place in the tournament, lost his first match, came back and won 3 after that, taking the 7th place.
We don't want you to think
Thanks a lot.
We don't want you to think there's any nepotism going on here or anything.
Besides being a good wrestler, he's a good kid.
You say that all the time?
Most of the time.
Just into the second period, no score between Timoteo and Savage, the number 1 and 2 seeds respectively in the 148-pound classification. And again, neither wrestler has really been able to do much of anything against his opponent so far. This has been maybe what you would expect from a match involving number 1 and 2 seeded wrestlers. Very tough and obviously very close as they head out of bounds off the mat and head back to the middle.
John, very interesting in this matchup. Both wrestlers very similar builds, very tall, very lanky, a lot of arms and legs out there in this match.
Which makes it tough for wrestling because they don't have that advantage. They're both the same size, so the leverage is the same with both of them.
About a minute or so left in the first period, and there is no score. This is the 148-pound final.
And right now, Steve, it's like no one can take control, and maybe like we were looking for our first overtime of the night.
Could be. That's what happens when you get two wrestlers the same build. I'm glad you mentioned earlier about the leverage. That is probably one of the most important things in wrestling. Everybody thinks you got to be a muscle man, but probably one of the most important things other than skill is leverage.
30 seconds left in the second period, and there is still no score between these two wrestlers. And with 15 seconds left in the period, again, it looks like we're going to head into the third period with neither wrestler able to gain any advantage at all over his opponent.
And it could change now here, depending on what the wrestler chooses to do. He's taken down now. See, now the wrestler takes down is tied right now. So the bottom man has an advantage where he could get an escape and get a match score of 1-0 or reversal 2-0.
And on the downside is Tommaso Timoteo of Mesa Verde. And they started wrestling for just a split second and then stopped.
That was because of the referee's whistle from a mat other than this match here.
Timoteo trying to get away, gets the reversal, and he takes a lead at 2-0, which is exactly what he was looking for in that position. So just underway in the third period, and Timoteo takes the first lead at 2-0. So Savage now is in a position where he needs to get an escape to get away from Timoteo, or a reversal, which he just did, and so we're now tied at 2-all.
Absolutely has to be the most even match of the night. The number 1 and number 2 seeds going at each other. We're late here in the third period and tied. Make that now 3-1 in favor of Timoteo.
Timoteo with 1 point for the escape, so it is 3-2. And he has just a slight advantage at this point, and Savage is going to look for the takedown very quickly to try to get out into the lead. And they head out of bounds, so they'll go back to the center of the mat with neither wrestler having any advantage at this point.
Now, even though Savage wound up on top as they fell out of bounds, the referee indicated he had not made an escape, so we start from an up position.
Right, yeah, they went out of bounds. There was no advantage there. Out of bounds, so they start back up, standing up.
3-2, Timoteo leading it. Savage looking for the takedown. And now gets it, and Savage is out in front 4-3. Coming down near the end of the third period. And Savage leading it by 1. .30 seconds still remaining in this third period. So Timoteo has some time if he can break away. 1 point for the escape, which ties us up at 4. 4-all with 15 seconds to go. And it looks like we're going to have our first overtime of the evening, unless Savage can get a takedown very quickly. And he can't get it done before the clock expires. No takedown, so we finish the regulation tied at 4-all. And it looks like we're going to go into the overtime. If I'm correct, we have about a minute break, so we'll take a break. We'll come back with the overtime between Timoteo and Savage in just a moment.